It's me, Sierra, the pool toy. Tonight, I wanted us to talk about sleep because I've kind of noticed that a lot of us don't tend to get enough sleep whenever we're here. And I think we really underestimate how much sleep we actually need. And so I thought maybe we could spend some time together tonight and we could talk about the different ways that we could go to bed together. I think one of the most important things to start when it comes to sleep is making sure that you have the right bed. Because if your bed's no good or your pillow's the wrong size, it could really affect your ability to sleep and get all that rest that you really need. So, if you wake up with body aches like back pain or anything like that, that might mean that you need a new mattress. If you're waking up with neck pain or back pain, that could be a problem with your pillow. And what you need to do is either get, maybe it's a thick pillow, maybe it's a smaller pillow. But I think that would be very helpful to start if you notice that you're not getting good sleep. So you gotta make sure that your bed looks right. The other thing that you need to do is make sure that your room is dark enough. A lot of us will sleep a lot better in pitch darkness, as dark as you can make it. If you can put up curtains, get those blackout curtains. You don't want any light to get into your space. You will very quickly notice the difference once you get used to sleeping in as complete darkness as what you can make versus if there's some light in the room. So make sure that you're turning off the lamps and that you don't have any night lights. If you have any windows, make sure that they're covered. And do your best to just make sure everything is as dark as possible. You can even get a little sleep mask for your face. So, definitely try to keep your environment as good as possible. It's even better if you can keep it pretty cool in your room. And by that I mean, you don't want the room temperature to be too hot. You're better off if it's just a little bit cold. Not too cold. You don't want to feel like you're fighting for your life when you're in bed. Another thing is that you definitely want to make sure that you keep your bed for two things: sex and sleep. You don't want to have a habit of using your bed for watching TV, messing around on your phone, doing any number of things other than sex and sleep. So that way, every time you go to bed, you have trained yourself that it is time to really shut your brain down and get rest. If you don't do that, then your brain might still be clicking in the background and wondering if you're going to turn on the TV, if there's something else you're going to do, if you need to check your email before bed. So make sure that you keep your bedroom just for sleeping. If you can't do that, get a chair. Do some way of not having all your activities take place in bed. And if you can't do that, well, that's why we have so many options of ways to improve your sleep. Speaking of just keeping the bedroom for sleep, it's important to surround a lot of that with establishing your own sleep habits, which involve preparing for bed. So this could be a few things. Maybe it's half an hour before bed. If you're still looking at screens, you put on some blue light blocking glasses that will help you sleep. It could also be stopping all the screens entirely and maybe sitting down with a cup of tea, decaf. It could also be any number of things that sort of help you relax and disconnect from all the stimulus that you've had during the day. So that could even include a little bit of meditation, meditating for 5 minutes. If you're spiritual, maybe that's your time to pray before bed. There's any number of things that you could do as part of a routine that will help you wind down the day so that when you lay in bed, you are ready for sleep. So, my own routine involves putting on blue light glasses if I'm still on the computer or on my phone. When I'm done with that, I put it down. I sit in just silence for about a minute, maybe 2. It's a very short amount of time. After that, I'll go brush and floss my teeth because I like having a nice, clean snoot before I go to bed. And then after that, I put on pajamas if I'm not already wearing them. And then I just go lay down in bed, turn off all the lights, set my phone down, and that's it. It's a very simple process, but every time I do it, I understand that I am now ready for sleep. So now it's time to ask yourself, how much sleep should I be getting? Well, the answer to that is pretty straightforward. You need somewhere between 7 and 9 hours of sleep on average per night. And I know that there are people out there saying that there's these hyper-successful people, CEOs or whatever, and they only get by with 4 hours of sleep. Well, it's actually biologically, some people are built different, but if you're part of the 99% of the rest of the world, you need between 7 and 9 hours of sleep. And that is because your sleep happens in cycles, where it takes about an hour and a half. You go from being awake, drifting down to sleep, and then you come up again, and that's about every hour and a half. And it's kind of surprising because I always thought that you sleep, you go deep, and then 8 hours later or so, you come up again. But actually, that's just not the case. It's actually proven that you cycle in your sleep, which is why it's actually can be very normal to wake up in the middle of the night. You actually do very, very often, but you usually fall right back asleep again, which is why you don't remember it most of the time. So try to make sure you're getting between 7 and 9 hours of sleep. And in order to help you not get interrupted sleep, make sure that you eat about at least 2 hours before bed. So if you're used to something I used to do, which is a big bowl of ice cream just before bed, don't do that. If you're going to have ice cream, have it earlier in the day. Have your dinner, don't eat anything else. Do your best not to snack. It's okay to go to sleep just a little bit hungry. The same applies for drinking water. I used to have a big glass of water right next to my bed whenever I went to sleep. But I found out that if you drink a whole bunch of water, especially just before bed, you're probably going to not have comfortable sleep. And that means that you're going to get up in the night and you're going to have to go use the bathroom. So try to avoid having too much water before bed. Try to drink only a little bit. Don't try to fill up your stomach with water. Another common obstacle to sleep is not being able to de-stress from the rest of the day. A lot of us work really hard every day, and we run into problems, whether it's at work, maybe we have a strained relationship with our family or significant other. Well, if you go to bed stressed out, that stress will keep you from being able to sleep very well. And so, it is important to do everything you can to try to de-stress at the end of the day. And so, for a lot of people, something that helps is mindfulness meditation. And you can do this anywhere from 5 to 10 minutes. It's not really like crazy, like woo-woo stuff. Being able to properly meditate, which you can look up videos on YouTube on how to do it, and they're quick. Or they're long, but you pick a quick one. And that, by the end of the meditation, you should feel a lot better in your mind, because hopefully you've been able to establish a little more peace. And I think that that would be very helpful for most of us to sort of take up a quick little practice of meditation, where we just stop, we breathe, we focus on our breath, and we just take it easy. Oh yeah, I made a YouTube video on meditation. Check that out. But yeah, going to bed with anxiety or dreading tomorrow because you have to work or because something big is coming that you're very worried about. You need to work on your thinking, and with that would be something like cognitive behavioral therapy, which I recommend everybody try. But also just trying to stay focused on the fact that there are just going to be things out of your control. The sun is going to rise tomorrow, whether or not you get any sleep tonight. So, managing your stress and anxiety is going to be absolutely key for getting a really good night's sleep. So I hope that you're able to take some of this advice so that you can start to improve your sleep. It's not the longest video I've made, but there's only so much sleep that you can talk about without trying to practice it yourself. After all, we've been doing this for years. So I hope that you're able to understand and accept that you are deserving of a good night's sleep. And I hope that you're able to accept that you're not missing out on anything because you're asleep. You will feel so much better the next day once you establish a decent sleep routine for yourself. Because that's what I really want for you. So,